Welcome to Whiskey and Fire. I'm Slade Beard, and with me is the man considered the voice of his generation, Derek Kinley.
I didn't expect that. Thank you. I mean, I believe it, but I didn't expect it.
I wanted to throw you off. I was torn between the voice of your generation or the Casey Kasem of your generation, and I didn't know if anybody would remember who Casey Kasem was. Do you?
Yeah, I think you can do an impression of Casey Kasem, can't you?
I haven't. I mean, we haven't drank anything yet, so
come
probably
on.
not. So probably not.
Maybe later then.
He was just a real. I mean, remember him? He had energy. He had like energy that I wish I had.
Oh, I know.
He was always your like Saturday morning. I don't know what your local radio station was, but what was it? Top 40, top 100.
Top 40.
I mean, he's on the. Was it? It
That
was
was
top
national,
40,
man.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was
That was
national.
every weekend.
Yeah, it wasn't. He wasn't a local guy.
Yeah. Now there's another national guy that's called Bobby Bones. Do y'all get him out there? Do y'all know who that is?
Yeah, I think he's on one of the local country stations or something.
Yeah, but he's on all of like the local stuff. When we lived in Mississippi, he was out there too.
Is being a radio DJ even is that a good thing anymore still?
I mean, I don't know. If you're a big name and you're making a ton of money, I'm sure it's fine. The work is easy.
Sure, you're basically just doing what we're doing, but you have people helping you, and you don't have technical issues like we've had for a while now. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I guess that was a dumb thing to say, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not comparing myself to those guys.
Well, you have the voice for it.
No.
But no, it's been a while since we got to do one of these. We did have technical issues with technology that two 40-year-old guys are trying to figure out. Not really either one of our specialties. I feel like I used to be better at it. I feel like I used to be better at technology. Is that an age thing? Like you just get not good at it anymore?
Well, yeah, because you don't keep up with the technology like the younger generation does. We knew how to we knew how to rewind a VHS. You think kids could do that today? Or use one of the little rotary phones?
They wouldn't. They wouldn't get a VHS, so they would never rewind one either. But when you said the younger, I don't know that the younger people are that good at technology anymore.
What? Doesn't your daughter help you with the technology problems that we have on this very podcast?
She's helped before.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watch some of them, and like when their devices quit working, they're just like, "Oh God, what do I do?"
Well, that's true.
Where I mean, like I would have tried to take it apart, and do something to it.
Yeah, that's true. But they're good at like all the phone stuff, setting up a hotspot and all this goofy stuff. They knock it out real easily.
Yeah, they can figure a lot of that stuff out. I remember being like called over to go help my grandpa with his computer, and that was always a real nuisance. Like trying to help him get AOL to dial up.
Yeah.
And that was I can't believe that was considered rewarding.
I know. And I'm not a computer guy, but sometimes I'll get that from in-laws and things like want me to help with their computer stuff. I'm not that good at it though. I'm kind of old, so I don't know as much as like the younger generation does on computers.
When I say him when I was younger and would go help him or something like that, I was like, oh yeah, I'll come get that. Don't worry about it. Now if somebody asks, I'm like, I'll look at it. I might make the problem worse, but I'll look at it.
Did you try to restart it?
Did you turn? That's what I told my wife, and it's not. That is what fixes her problem. I'm like, have you turned it off yet? No. Okay, we'll do that. I mean, because on her phone, I'm going to assume every app's open in the background.
Oh yeah.
47 apps are open, and she's like, my phone's not working well. Well, I mean, I'm old, and even I know you shouldn't do that. You should at least turn something off on your phone.
That's right. I think I'm better at it than my wife is. I'll admit that.
No, my wife is that, and I don't want to say. I was going to say older lady, but that might get me. It might get me hit.
Yeah, that would definitely get you hit. You got to tread lightly, friend.
Tread lightly on that. Well, the woman who the technology never works for her. It's always the computer's messed up. It's not doing it right. Her phone's not doing what she wants it to do. Her watch isn't doing what she wants it to do. I'm like, yeah, they're out to get you. That's what the situation is.
Well, Leah's one of those that'll like, if it doesn't immediately do what she wants, it's just start pressing everything, and then it freezes up and becomes a big problem.
Or do they ever like hit the screen harder? I mean, this isn't a button.
Yeah.
It doesn't know the force in which you're hitting it.
That's right. You're getting angry and it knows now.
Yeah, they probably are programmed to somehow work less if you push them harder. So I don't know. Well, let's get something to drink here. I know we had planned on. We had one of our what was the word? Vendors,
Partners, a partner.
partners who had sent us something, and we were ready to do that. And I believe you this time forgot to keep that with you.
Yeah, we were going to record at the farmhouse. That fell through, but I did have the whiskey there. I just didn't bring it back home with me.
So
So
you
we're,
still have the whiskey at the farmhouse.
yeah, it's still at the farmhouse. So it's safe.
Yeah, that's
We'll
good then.
we'll have to do it next time.
Well, we will. We're still in our infancy, so this is going to go on for a while, but we'll do it still.
We're going to lose
So
listeners if you say that.
No, I want to milk that for a while. That's how you cover up your mistakes for a long time. We're still new. We're still new. It's
Oh,
like
that's
when you're
true.
the new guy at work. When you're the new guy at work, you try to milk that. Hey, I'm the new guy. I just don't
That's
expect
right.
much.
I haven't been here as long as other people, so give me a little leeway here.
I'm gonna do the best I can, but it might not be right. We'll see. So I think we both just pulled something out of our cabinet to drink tonight. You
Yep.
want to go first with yours? Or you want me to go first?
You go first. You already got the bottle in your hand.
So I think I've said on here before. TX is my I'll try. It's my daily driver, my preferred daily driver. Let's go with preferred daily driver. So this
Right.
would be like my daily driver when I have some extra money in my pocket. This is the TX straight bourbon. I think in their regulars it's like the midline. No, I think they have four. I think they have the blended, which is the normal one, straight bourbon. What's the other one? What's the next word for something? I know there's bottled and bond, and then barrel proof, and then barrel
Yeah.
proof bottled and bond is like the top line. I've never had that one, but I've had the barrel proof. It fluctuates in percentage. They're never the same. It's whatever that barrel was. So that's kind of a neat thing with these. But this is their step up. This is instead of being a blended, it's actually a bourbon coming in at 90 proof. I want to say these are $60 for a bottle, something somewhere in there,
Yeah,
maybe.
which means you didn't buy it. So do you want to give a shout out?
Well, I'm kind of back to the story we just said. My wife's uncle called the other day. He was having problems with his TV and asked if I'd come help fix it, and that was my payment. So,
Wow, totally worth it.
as a young guy, I'd have been like, no, I want money. But as a 42-year-old guy, I'm like, yeah, if you've got a bottle of whiskey, we'll make anything work.
That's right.
But no, this bottle is made from pure passion and patience. I didn't know how you do that really, but using only locally farmed corn and wheat and a one-of-a-kind yeast we captured and skillfully cultivated. The provenance of this bourbon whiskey is its reward. What does that mean? The provenance of this whiskey is its reward?
I don't know.
I have no
I'm
idea.
not sure. It's just a lot of words. But I know the
Sounds
whiskey's
really-
good.
It is good. This is not I didn't say this isn't a brand new bottle, so I've already drank it and had it before. But it does have what the taste should be. It's remarkably smooth and exudes unique flavors of dark fruit, sweet spice, and caramel. We hope you enjoyed as much as we did. So, what are dark fruits? What is the dark fruit?
Prune?
Oh,
I don't know.
God, that would
Is that
have
not
never
dark? Is that a dark fruit?
that would have never sold me on this. I'd have put it back if it said tastes like
Well, that's
prunes.
why they don't say prunes. Tasteful notes of prunes. They're going to say dark fruit. Sounds better.
Dark fruits and sweet spices.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yours sounds really fancy. Now, I don't want to call this a daily driver because I really just stick to the weekends unless we're doing a podcast on a Wednesday.
Well, I mean, your
But
daily driver's who you're going to walk in and get from. What are you going to walk in and get normally?
this is going to be my go-to, which I think I've mentioned on here before. But this is called Four Roses. This is a Kentucky bourbon. It is all right, so 80 proof, which is pretty light, and it tastes like it's light. I think it's really good. I don't think anybody's go-to or daily driver needs to be 100 or 120 because I think you'll get pretty sloppy on that pretty quick. And it doesn't have all the fancy stuff. I mean, you can kind of just see. All it says is it says notes: fresh pear, apple, gentle spice, smooth caramel, and vanilla. That's it. That's all it says, and then it says who it's distilled by. So
But I like the names of all those, but I do want to know what a gentle spice is.
a gentle, it's just a little bit.
What is it, like cumin? Is that
I don't
What's that?
know. It's not going to taste like chili, so I doubt it's cumin. I'm thinking maybe like cinnamon or who knows.
I would think cinnamon would be a harsh spice. It's a gentle spice. I would think have nothing to it. Like,
You
why
think
did you even put
cumin
it in
is
there?
not a? You think that's a gentle spice?
I'm not a very good chef. I don't know what you do with cumin. I don't know. To
It
me, it
tastes
just
like chili
sounds. It
powder,
just.
so
Oh,
it's not
yeah, that was a
gentle.
bad example. That was a really bad example. Then
Yeah, yeah.
I
Who
don't know what a
knows?
gentle spice is.
I don't know. Is like coriander gentle? I think might be.
Coriander. I don't. I couldn't even tell you what a coriander looks like.
I don't know either. I mean, your bottle sounded so smart. I wanted to throw coriander in there for mine. That's all.
Coriander. I like it. People both. Everybody just thinks we're idiots right now. Is what it narrows down to. But I'm
That's
good
normal.
with it.
Hey, before you, I wanted to. So I don't know if we've ever talked about this with the TX whiskeys, but the
Mm-hmm.
cap is all different. And you and I
It
both
is.
have these little Texas things, and they have holes in them so you can keep the little cork. And they all have different stuff on them. Can you show that to the camera so we can see what it looks like? What is that one?
Um, it's a dark brown leather. There, I got
Okay.
it. That got it, didn't
Yeah,
it?
that did work. Okay, just curious
So,
what it had there.
so yeah, the story with those is people donate boots, and they use different boot leathers to make the lids. Now there are like special editions, like they'll do a baseball one, and clearly they didn't use a baseball because you can see two sets of rings. Um,
Yeah,
but I mean, those are the special editions. The rest are all different types of, and you'll have some crazy looking leathers. You can tell they're like Cayman and have designs in them, and some are just a solid color. So yes, it's very neat. And due to my recording location this time, I don't have mine behind me. Mine is probably 97% full. But yes,
that's
and I
impressive.
think I got you an A&M one, didn't I?
You did. So actually got it. You found it, and I said, yeah, pick it up because I'm going to give it to Leah for Christmas. So she has a little. It just says A&M on it, but it's a little leather cap with A&M written on it. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know they were selling them like as a set, and it was like there's what 6 different ones you can get, and I was like, oh, where can I get the other one? They're like, oh, they're sold out. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I was late on that one, so maybe
Well,
they'll
at least
redo
you got
that.
one. Yeah.
Well, I want to go to the distillery around the beginning of baseball season, and get one of the baseballs. That would be very neat.
Yeah. Love it. We'll have to
I
go.
have a, I have a, I have a, I know one of the good ones I have is a camo one. It's like for military recognition, so that's pretty cool
Yeah.
if they have that as well. So,
Yeah. Those are
well, I'm going
awesome.
to try to bottle pop. This thing's already been open, so I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of a lackluster bottle pop, but it's a bottle pop nonetheless.
Oh, that's great.
Mm,
For all the
little something.
excuses that I just heard, it actually turned out good. And again, this is not super fancy stuff. So I'm going to put this near the microphone so you can hear me crack the plastic cap here. There you go. Were you able to hear that?
We heard that. Hey, it's
No,
a
it's
glass
not
bottle, right?
super.
It's a
Yeah, it's
glass
glass.
bottle, right?
It's not super cheap. I mean, this is like $40, but it is a handle, so you know, it's not real expensive, but not real cheap.
No, that's not too bad. I've got a true daily driver I've been using, but I'll do that on a different episode. But it's a
Oh,
good
I know the
cheap
one.
a cheap handle. You know what it is. It's not
We'll
bad
both
either.
do it.
Not bad.
We'll both do that same one. We'll do it together. I
So
needed an
so you're
excuse to
saying
go
you
buy
didn't
some.
you're saying you didn't mind it.
I didn't. I liked it. I actually liked it for real.
I really like the price point. Anyway, so let's see if I can get my dark spice and you get your gentle spice.
You have an ice ball in there?
Mm-hmm.
So I've never taken the
And
time to
this,
actually smell this. It smells
oh
really good.
yeah,
It does smell like pear and something gentle. I don't know.
something gentle. Does it have like something that keeps your stomach calm, like older people would use, something to kind of keep you regular?
Maybe that's why I like it so much. It's really good though. Four Roses. This is just the basic stuff they sell. Four Roses.
Yeah.
They also have a small batch and a single barrel, and they get fancier. But this is just the
Mm-hmm.
regular stuff.
How long have you been drinking Four Roses now?
Um, Probably 3 years or so. I've actually never been to the distillery there for Four Roses. I just found it and liked it and kept buying it.
So we've been drinking our daily drivers about the same because I started TX at COVID. That,
Oh
that was
yeah,
when I started. That's when I started TX. I
yeah.
believe they shut all the stores down, and I ran out and called my dad to ask what he had at his house. And I got this bottle of TX I don't really like. Well, luckily, luckily I've spent
Well,
$5,000 in TX since then.
Yeah, I know. And it's easy because when you find something you like, you're like, yeah, you know what? I'll get some more of it. I'll get some more. I want to make sure I have enough. And so you're always buying the stuff, never running out.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, we like I said, it's been a while since we did an episode, and I had an idea for how I wanted to do this episode, so I think I presented it to you a month ago. Golly, it's been that long.
Yeah.
We're so far behind, but yeah, it's been a month ago, and we've both been busy, and then we ran into some technical issues here with recording, so that threw us off. So we're finally going to get around to that. Kind of like I said, we're in our infancy, so we don't really have a routine yet. So I kind of like that. It gives us the ability to try different stuff and see what works and what doesn't work. So what my idea was is I want to throw just before we record, say a week before, throw an idea out to make a list. You make a list, I make a list of a topic, and see what we come up with. That way we know what we're talking about, but not the intricacies of what we're talking about.
So full disclosure, if you give me homework, I'm probably not going to do it. So you did tell me to make a list, and I actually did not really make a list. Um, but I feel like in my mind I have a list. So I'm good there, but don't ask me to show you a list because I don't have one.
But I feel like you're a person who has a better memory than me. So if you think of some stuff, you kind of hold on to things better. If
Well,
if if I would have, huh?
I said, you're wearing your glasses today. You definitely look like you have a better memory than me. You look like the smart guy for sure.
Well, I mean, it just means I'm the blind guy, which is a recent addition to my wardrobe. Um, but no, so I threw the idea, and it just hit me one morning, like on the way to work, and I called you, and I was like, "Hey, here's what we're gonna do. Just start thinking right now." And then we got off the phone. Um, but it's things we've missed, whether it be a time period we missed, a place we missed, an item we missed, something we missed about how things used to be. So that was my. I feel like when you get older, you have plenty of those that you're always going, man, I remember when. So let's see what our remember wins are.
Love
Since you
it.
don't actually have a list, do you want me to kick this one off?
I mean, I'm good either way. So you just do you're running this show. You tell me.
Well, surprise me. Let me see what's in that head. Let me see what's sitting in the back of the head there.
Um, okay. All right. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to say this without it sounding too weird. I guess I miss a
The weirder the
time.
better.
I miss a time when dudes didn't wear super tight pants.
Ooh.
Like there's literally people. There will be a couple, a guy and a girl, and he's wearing tighter pants than she is. And I can't, like, I miss a time, and I don't want to say men's fashion is important to me because I don't care about clothes and fashion.
But I mean, you
But
have to see it. You have to see these things. So
yeah,
I get where you're going.
I mean, I don't want to see it. I think at some point soon, that thing needs to go away. That whole fad thing needs to go away. And I don't want to be the grumpy old guy screaming to get off my lawn and all this, but
Yeah, you do.
like
Yeah, you
enough
do.
is enough. Put on some appropriate size pants for every other dude's benefit. And you're not impressing
And
the
and,
women. They don't
and
like it.
for clarification, I'm going to assume you mean ones that are tight from top to bottom, because there
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
Wrangler. People wear Wranglers that are tight, and that's one thing, but they're not tight down to their calf. Like it's not
Yeah.
capris. Like
I'm not
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about like baseball pants, but if I can see your ankles and
Well,
all the rest of the pants are tight, it's too much.
yeah. If they're tight from the wherever they stop at to wherever they start at, that's too tight of a pair of pants.
Right? So
I
we
can agree
agree.
with that.
I just didn't know how you
Definitely.
I didn't know if maybe you wore tight pants when I wasn't around you at times. I wasn't sure.
And what about how guys' shorts are getting shorter? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I've noticed. It's
What
terrible.
I mean, it's bad. I remember, when you were in school, the rule was always like if for girls, if your shorts weren't past your hands when you put them down, they're not long enough, and that never even applied to us. Now there's guys, if they put their hands down, I mean, their shorts don't go past their hands.
Yeah. The funny thing is, we were in the store the other day, and my wife and I were like shopping for some stuff, and I needed some new shorts. And she goes, "These," and she kind of held them up. She goes, "These are a little bit shorter, but I think that's the style now." And I was wearing shorts, so I just kind of lifted my shorts just a little bit, like above my knees and stuff, just to give her a glimpse of what she would be seeing. And she goes, "Yeah, you're right." Like I didn't even say anything, and she just saw my knees and how white my legs are, and she was just like, "Yes, I get it. We don't need these shorts."
Am I old because I so badly want to go back to the big cargo shorts with all the pockets?
That is a thing. I think people are saying that's coming back. The people being my wife.
Well, I mean, you could carry everything you could possibly need, and that, good lord, that is the oldest thing I've ever said in my entire life. But yes, you could have so much. You had so many things with you. It was so
It
convenient,
is pretty bad.
and there was a time when we did it, and we were trendy. If you had a pair of cargo shorts on,
Oh yeah,
you were up to date. Now, if you do them, you might as well get white socks and New Balance and just be an old man with it. But it needs to come back to being hip, I think.
still better than super tight pants.
Definitely. All right, well, let me hit one off my actual list here. So, something I miss is simpler cell phones. I'm not an old enough generation to say I wish we didn't have cell phones because there's a convenience factor to them, but I miss when they were simpler. I miss when they made phone calls. And you could text, but you weren't going to text long things because you were hitting the keys a million times. So, I miss when they were a simpler, and a charge lasted for God, what, 4 days? You're like, I haven't charged my phone in 4 days.
Yeah, but you never used it either. Like you'd get a call or two a day, and that was it. Like you couldn't even text from the original ones, you know?
Well, so, yeah, but I'm not that far. I'm thinking more like the neat non-smartphones, like right before smartphones come out, when regular cell phones had gotten kind of cool. Like I remember I had a slider, like you just slid the screen up, and there was some keys underneath it. It was neat looking. It was a
Oh
Samsung.
yeah.
I could picture it right now. Had like chrome around it. I thought it was the coolest thing on earth.
Just go all
And
in
you
and
could
get you
check.
one.
And you could check your email, if you had like 5 or 10 minutes to get it to load. I mean, you had other things you could do,
Yeah.
but I mean, that phone was cool. It was neat. People were like, "Oh, your phone's neat looking." I mean, every one of our phones, if you turn the screen off and hold it up, that's what it looks like. It's a little box.
Yeah, I kind of hate. I'd be perfectly fine with not having phones. Like I'm not the type to be on social media stuff, and I don't respond right away because I don't always have my phone with me, and it irritates people, and I know that. And so I'm not really in. I'm not a phone guy, and when I'm on the phone with somebody, not always, but a lot of the times, I'm just trying to think of how I can get out of it and be off the phone. So like I just don't like holding it there. I don't like, and then with the phones, it leads to all this other stuff. People they're staring at their phone, and so like every morning on my way to work, I have to honk because people don't know the light's green. That stuff is like super annoying.
But
I
if you had
actually
a
think it was
sim-
much simpler before.
but if you go back to just the simpler cell phones, that didn't go on. No one was
True.
buried in their phone, and there's a convenience factor to have. When you get sent to the grocery store and you didn't really listen to what the list was, you can call back and go, "Hey, what was that you said? Good, I don't remember." So I want to have a cell phone. I just don't want it to do anything except for make calls and short text. What was
I
that
think
called?
so. Yeah.
What was the text technology? T9. Do you remember T9?
No.
Like if you wanted an F, you hit a three twice, or no, T9 is when
Oh.
you T9 is when you just hit the number that had the letter, and it kind of figured out what words you were saying. So if you hit a like
Uh,
whatever three and you did an OR after it, it knew that was an F, and it made it a I don't. That was a horrible description, but
yeah, but no, I get what you're saying.
so yeah, no, I don't want no. So I do. I think we're the generation who realizes there's a value to having communications with you. But yes, no, when we had those phones, we weren't just like, we weren't doing this all day. People were, you just, oh yeah, my phone's in my pocket and I haven't charged it in a week. So
Yeah. Did you before phones? Did you have a pager?
I did. I think I had two pagers.
Yeah, I had a pager. It took a while before my parents would let me have a pager. Said they were only for drug dealers. But after they got over that, I got a pager, and that was the coolest thing in the world. I thought I was like wearing
Well,
this thing on my belt and running around, and you could change the little, the case of it, and so it'd be like blue or green
yeah.
or whatever. Thought it was
My
so
second
cool.
one did that. My first one, I got, it was, this one sounded terrible. If you drink enough Mountain Dew, you got like points, and I got a free pager. I mean,
Whoa.
obviously not a free pager. I had to drink a lot of Mountain Dew, but it was like a simple one button. You couldn't do anything cool with it. And then I think my parents saw there was value in the fact that I did have some way they could get a hold of me, and then I was allowed to get the pager, like you're talking about, that you could make look different and personalize and all that. But so did you make sure your shirt sat on top of it so that people knew there was a pager there, or did you let the pager just become incognito?
I don't know. I can't remember. I definitely didn't run around with my shirt tucked in, so I think I probably just didn't show it most of the time.
Yeah. No, I remember the pagers. Definitely remember the pagers. So what you got? Hit me with something else.
Um, I think just overall, I mean, we've talked about 90s music and 90s cars and 90s movies. I love all that stuff. So if maybe all of that combined, I love it. I think movies
Hmm.
now, some of them are pretty good, but a lot of them are just hot garbage. And people are afraid to be funny because they think they'll get in trouble and they got to be politically correct and everything.
Hmm.
And I hate that because I just, we'll say 90s comedies because all the hilarious stuff, the Tommy Boy, the Ace Ventura, all these
Hmm.
things that are super inappropriate now were so hilarious when I was growing up that it kind of shaped my sense of humor and I loved it. And I don't think kids get that stuff today. Like there's no really good, strong comedy that's come out in the recent history or that will, I don't
Hmm.
think.
No, I would say if you go back maybe 4 to 5 years is when it started to fall off. That was when everybody got afraid to really just be all out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
Have
You're
you
probably
tried to
right.
have your son watch any of the old comedies you thought were funny?
Oh, my son loves them. He loves
Does he?
Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and all that Adam Sandler stuff.
Yeah.
He loves Tommy Boy, like all this thing, all the same stuff that I like. He loves it. It
Now, did
cracks
you
him
have you
up.
ever gone real old and like see? I got my son to watch Wayne's World, which I want to say is
Oh yeah,
before all those. That is like early '90s.
you want to get my 15-year-old son giggling? Yeah, you throw some Wayne's World on. He likes Austin Powers and Joe Dirt, like
Hmm.
any of that stuff that was big back in the day. That he loves all of it.
Yeah, it is. I think well, most people do because it was funny. And if you notice, a
Yeah,
lot of those are still on TV all the time for some reason. Like they'll just have an Adam Sandler weekend or a Joe Dirt weekend. It's like we're not
yeah,
giving up on that.
yep. Or a Talladega Nights weekend. Every time you're in my house, Talladega Nights is on, and you would probably think that I love that movie more than anything else because it's always on. But whatever is on Comedy Central or whatever, it's always Talladega Nights when you're here.
But you do love it. I mean, you may not have
Yeah,
purposely did it, but you do love that movie. I
yeah,
mean, don't say
agreed.
you
I
don't.
love it. I definitely do.
Okay.
Step Brothers
Yeah.
is better, but I like them both.
Yeah, but I mean, they can't safely play Step Brothers on TV all the time. I mean, it gets edgier. It gets a
Yeah,
little.
it
There's a few
does.
scenes that can't be repeated. Hey,
And they're
funny
both
story
pretty
about
edgy.
funny story about Talladega Nights. So my father-in-law loves NASCAR. I mean, breathes it. Has like cars all in his living room. I mean, he's a fan. So I wish I had something I loved that much. But anyway, um, so when that movie came out, my wife was going to get it for him as like a cool gift, thinking this would be like it's about NASCAR. He'll like it. She didn't do the legwork. She didn't research, but it's kind of just making fun of NASCAR.
Yeah,
he
it really
he,
is.
he called her after watching it like I that was kind of I didn't really like that. She's like, "What?" I said, "You gave him Talladega Nights and it's making fun of NASCAR."
He says, I don't really like that. Not just NASCAR, but NASCAR fans, you
Oh
know?
yeah, oh it goes for all of them. I mean, it's just hey, y'all are retarded. It goes for the whole thing. So yeah,
Sure,
no,
I'll
that was
sign
fun. I
what
thought it was
baby
funny that
said.
she did that. Yeah, some
Yeah,
things you got to kind of research before you hand it out.
yeah,
It
exactly.
was funny. So all right, let me hit my list here. All right, so I've got better customer service. And I mean that I don't even mean just phone. I mean if you went into a store, like so what rings in my head, and I don't know if where you lived had a place like this. Like we had like a Circuit City in Longview
Oh,
when I
yeah,
was
we have
young,
one.
like a low key Best Buy or probably a Best Buy of its time before stores got
It was,
ridiculous.
yeah.
But if you walked in there and say went to the car stereos or the TVs, the person that walked up, knowledgeable, like knew about every TV, knew about every radio, asked you what you were going to do with it. Here's didn't try to say the biggest one. They're like, this will do what you want, man. Here's what I got in my car. Blah blah blah. Talk to you. Now you have some guy with gauge deer ears walked up who really doesn't want to be there,
Wearing
and he's
tight
like,
pants.
oh, definitely wearing tight pants. Definitely wearing tight pants. Um, and he's just like, well, I don't know. I don't know. It's probably good. It's a good brand. And I'm like, what? Because I mean, I don't want to get on. I don't want to have to go research what I'm going to buy. You now you have to. You better do your own research because the people at a store or anyone there to help you is not going to provide you any help.
Yeah, agreed. And service across the board is worse. And I think one of the big reasons is because you're tipping, in most cases, you're tipping them no matter what, because you feel socially obligated to. And in a lot of cases, you're tipping before the service is even rendered. Like, how many times if you do
Mm-hmm.
DoorDash or even just order pizza, you're plugging in a tip before they go anywhere. I mean, you used to hand them money at the door when they dropped your pizza off, so they really wanted to get it there fast, so it's hot, take care of you. They'd ask
Mm-hmm.
if you want cheese and the crushed red pepper and all that. You know, you don't get that now because it's almost expected. They're like, you're going to pay me regardless. So I think that's a big part of it.
Oh, definitely. Yes, yesterday actually, I was at the house in the middle of the day and I had my son go pick us up Subway. So I ordered it on my phone. So because I don't, and that's the thing now, I like ordering on my phone because if I tell it to them, they're not going to hear everything and they're not going to get it right. So here I can actually click how I want my sandwich.
Yeah.
And when I got done, before I hit place order, it said, "Do you want to tip your sandwich artist?"
Yeah. Did you? I got to ask, did you?
When before phones, did you ever consider tipping the guy at Subway?
Never. Counter service, you never tipped it.
You don't. You don't. But I'm going
We
to
were,
tip my sandwich artist.
I can't remember where we were, but they were asking for tips for counter service. And it was one of these places where there's not even a person that takes your order. You go up there and there's like a computer and you punch in what you're going to order. You actually pay for it there. And then they call your number and you go up and grab your own food. Who are you tipping and why? Like, honestly.
I mean, yeah, the guy back there who's getting hourly rate for making your food. I mean, he's getting hourly. He doesn't need
Yeah.
your tip.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
So
definitely
it's a
tipping
good
ahead
one.
of time makes no sense. But yeah, no, customer service across the board though. Like you don't walk into Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy and expect them to. In fact, the computer I'm sitting here looking at right now. When I went and got it, I mean, the guy was just like, "Here's a computer." I was like, "Well, here's what I'm going to do with it. It'll probably do it." I was like, "Oh, okay,
That's ridiculous.
cool. Yeah, thanks for your loads of input there." So yeah, mine's a better customer service because I
Yeah.
haven't found good customer service in a long time.
Yeah, I'm the same way at like Lowe's and Home Depot. When you're building a cabin, you have to spend a lot of time in these places. And these people don't know anything. I have better luck talking to other customers there. Like I'll see them holding something and be like, "Hey, does that work?" Like you're going to gain more from that than you will from any of the guys that work there, at least the ones I've been
I'll even bring my phone up to find out where something in the store is, because it'll tell you what aisle and bay it is.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I don't even want to. I don't even want to ask them. I just want to look on my phone and be like, "I'll go find it." Just
You don't want to engage.
don't bother yourself. You ask a question, like we had to go order floor the other day for the house, and the guy that was putting the order in, I could tell he was just like answering my question. Like I was like, "Is this gonna work?" Yeah, no, yeah, that'll, yeah. I was like,
For
"Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
that didn't make me feel like you really answered my question." But okay, whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
customer service. So what else you got,
It's a good
Derek?
one. It's a good one. One of the things that you used to see a lot whenever we were growing up is kids were just outside all the time. They were out there in the street until basically the street light came on. That's how I knew I better go home, check in, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We were out there all the time, and football, riding bikes, just playing out in the street. We would play we call it street hockey. It was like a tennis ball, not a puck, but we were
Yeah,
in Texas. So, but we did all that kind of stuff growing up. You really don't see that anymore. I mean, there's never kids out. Um, I think they're inside playing PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, but they're not outside playing.
definitely less. I will say there's definitely less of them out there. In our neighborhood, I do see them every once in a while. Like there's a few that do it,
Yeah, I mean,
but
you'll
for
see a
some reason
couple.
they also evil eye adults now. I don't know why that became a thing,
Oh yeah,
but
but the other thing is you would see big groups. Like we would have
oh yeah,
teams of people playing out in the streets, kids, or in the yard or whatever. You don't see
mm,
that now at all. Like you said, you might see a kid riding his bicycle or someone playing basketball in the driveway. My son does that every day, but there's not a big thing. There's not a big group of kids running around roaming the neighborhood. So kind of miss that. That was a big part of childhood for us, and it was fun. And kids
true.
are missing out.
They are definitely missing out. They're definitely missing out. They're lacking the social interaction that gave you too.
Yeah.
Even the trouble, like the getting in trouble. Because I mean, I'm sure you're just like me. At some point, you went somewhere, did something you weren't supposed to do. I mean, it just
Oh yeah.
natural progression of things. Now, I will
Yeah.
say I've had like in our subdivision when they're building new houses, you hear like complaints of kids going to the houses that aren't done yet, and I'm like, that's wrong, but I kind of respect it. Like, hey, at least you're doing something.
You're
You're out
getting
there
into
doing something.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would. That'd be like, man, this is my own house I get to go play in that nobody's going to stop me to. This is amazing.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
respect it. My
I
kid better
grew up
not
in a
do it, but I mean, I
neighborhood.
respect it.
I grew up in a neighborhood where they weren't building houses, so I didn't ever have that opportunity.
No, I didn't either. No. In fact, where I grew up, somebody might drag a new house in there, but yeah, no, there was no
You pull
houses.
one behind you.
Yeah, there was nobody building new houses. No.
Yep.
All right, let me hit another. We probably need to wrap it up, but I want to find one more off my
Pick
list.
your best one.
That the list that I actually have.
My list was pretty formal, I thought.
You've done good. You've done good for having not actually brought one to the table. So this one applies to something, and then we'll wrap it up with this one, I guess, unless you have something else. But simpler vehicles,
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
simpler to work on, and all that. Like when it didn't have that many features on it, a lot of things you just, even if you didn't know how to fix it, you could figure it out. You could go to the auto parts store and they had a book right there underneath the checkout were the books to every vehicle made and how to tear it apart and how to fix it. And you could take it
That's right.
home, cover it in grease, and learn how to do it. The reason I say that, so my son has a Honda Accord and low mile, like still has 30 or 40,000 miles on it, and the injectors need to be replaced. Why does it need new injectors anyway? And I've got online and read, and it's like common for a 2018 to need them, which shouldn't be common, but it's like $2,000 to have it done. I watch a YouTube. You tear half the engine apart to do it. Like, goodness, man, let's make everything cost a ton. Where if this was an old Chevy truck, we'd be changing the carburetor out, and we could sit in the hood and do it. I
Hmm.
mean, it's not that way anymore.
No, not at all. I've got a Nissan Titan. It's 2017, so it's getting a little bit older. But my starter was going out. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I'm going to replace the starter in this thing. Well, it turns out the starter is not underneath the vehicle at the bottom of the flywheel like they've, as far as I knew, they've all been forever. It's
I thought that was
actually,
normal.
yeah, it's on top of the engine. Well, it's on top of the flywheel, but it's under the intake. I had to take off literally half the engine to get just to the starter. Then it took 4 minutes, to get the starter out and replace it with another one, then go, of course, put it all back in. It ended up taking us probably 3 or 4 hours because of the location of it. I don't understand why we wouldn't
Hmm.
take something that was so simple and just be dumb about it and make it impossible to replace.
You kind of want to be like in the R&D meeting when they were like, "Hey, so I came up with an idea. So here's what we're gonna do. I know, I know that for 100 years starters are on the bottom. What if we put them on the top? I
Yeah.
mean, is there a benefit? Did they bring a like? Here's why it'll help, or they're just like, well, nobody will be able. I feel like it's really nobody will be able to work on it, so we'll put the starter on top.
Yeah. What's the conversation though? Like someone has that idea and you go, that's really dumb. Let's do it. How do you get from, yeah, that's just dumb to, yeah, we should do that. Let's make it happen. I don't
I mean,
understand
I feel
that.
like it has to be like it'll be harder to get worked on. Like that's what I feel like that has to be what did it. It
It
has
could
to be this
be.
is going to be harder to be worked on. So let's do that.
Yeah. Let's bring it back into the shop to have it worked on. It's probably right.
I mean, there's vehicles that like if you have a headlight go out, the recommendation is to take it in and get the headlight changed.
Oh, yeah. Leah has a tail light that we had to replace. Apparently, you couldn't replace the LED light in it. It had to just, the whole thing just had to be replaced. So instead
Oh
of
well, no,
$10,
I'm talking
it's like
even with the
400.
bulbs. Like now the bulbs, even if you still replace the bulb, they make it so hard to get into it that they want you to bring it in. Like my wife had a
Oh,
Tahoe, and it was probably a 2012 Tahoe, but you had to like come through the fender well and take the fender well off and come up from the backside to get to it. And but if you like look into it, the recommendation is to bring it in to have a headlight bulb changed.
yeah. That's just crazy.
Like no, even the old trucks. I mean, if you had an '82 Chevy, if you'd have called the Chevy house, they'd have been like, "Well, come get the headlight and go home and change it." I mean, don't call us. We're not.
That's
That's
right.
stupid. You're dumb. Mm,
Yep. It's dumb.
it's very dumb. Much like a lot of the world now. So we need Jesus. We need Jesus badly,
More now than ever, huh?
more now than ever. Amen to that. We won't. I can talk about that one for a while too, but we won't do that today. That'll be another episode. Another
Yeah.
episode that we can piss people off with, which I think is our goal half the time.
Another episode where I will not take notes prior to.
I don't think we need as many notes for that one.
It's true.
Now, if you ask me to start reciting the Bible to you, yeah, there's going to have to be some notes involved because I'm not one of those that can rattle it off. But talk about it, yeah, I can talk about it for a while.
Same.
Well, cool. No, I think that was a success. I think that was cool. I think we need to try some list out again, and maybe you actually make one. But I think that's a good idea. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It's fun.
Good. Good. Well, it was my idea, so it was obviously a winner.
Yeah, you're the creative one here. I'm the voice.
You are Casey Kasem. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We'll try to stay a little more on a routine, get back to getting these out routinely. Hopefully summer vacations don't ruin that, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. We've gotten through our technical problems. We still got a few little bugs to work out, but I think we're on the right track now. So we'll be able to keep turning them out. So
That's right.
before we get off, thanks everybody for listening. Check us out on social media. Start hitting subscribe. We need people to start clicking that subscribe button. Give us a review. Give us a rating. If it's good or bad, put it. Say the truth. What is that thing I heard online? Say the weird thing. People are dying for realness now. Come on, let's hear it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, until we do it again, guys, thanks for joining, and God bless you when we see you next time.
See ya.